Hello and welcome to Portia, Raw and Real. This podcast is designed to take a deeper look at some of the conversations that we have on the Portia Show weekdays. This one, though, we get to go in a little bit deeper and talk about maybe some things that we didn't get to finish discussing, or really, with a couple like today, just keep unpacking. They have a powerful story. I'm talking about Carita and Leon Montgomery. They are the authors of Just Dance With Me. There is a rhythm and flow to longevity in marriage, and honey child, yes, there is.
Yes.
And you two have been doing that dance for quite some time. Thank you so much for being so honest. I think you were the first person, the first guest that we've ever had, and we've been doing this now almost 2 full seasons, who is admitted to being physically violent.
Right. Yes.
With your wife. And you're one of the few women to admit, I was kind of, pardon the term, a buster. Mm-hmm. I was kind of tearing my husband up. And I think that's what made us want to come back to this, because we know that there are people, because really, if we're honest, right, they're both forms of some form of abuse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And not to minimize the physical abuse that you endured, but it's important to acknowledge that, right?
Right. Yep,
exactly. Why was that so important for you guys to be so open about it?
We thought that if it helped us heal, that we could help other couples do the same.
Yeah.
And that was the whole premise around writing the book.
Yeah.
Like, who else is going through this where you really want to stay married? It really is a good marriage, but how do you get to the point where it turns into bliss and not the toxicity that we endured?
And I think that's what really resonated with me. It became very clear during the interview. You guys never really wanted to leave each other, but you kept trying to leave them.
Yeah, for me, divorce was never an option. You know, she threw that word around so loosely and so often that, you know, she actually believed that, you know, it was probably easy to just divorce me and leave me.
Yeah. So before we get too deep, though, I want to just start, for folks who did not get a chance to see the show, the two of you actually met when you were in church, right? Let's talk about, you know, I saw her singing when I was in the choir, and I said I got to find out who this pretty girl and her twin sister are, right?
Twin sister, yeah, and after church I went to the car and met both twins, asked for the phone number, but what I didn't say. And when I put it in the book as well, I actually was trying to talk to the other sister.
You were trying to talk?
Clear it up.
Yeah, I was actually trying to talk to the other twin.
Side eye, Portia, get on side eye.
I'm trying not to side eye. That feels mean to side eye your guest.
Yeah,
So, but obviously you ended up okay, go ahead. I'm trying to understand that.
So my twin was not interested.
No.
Not interested. So I guess I'm like the second. I don't even want to even say that.
We're not going, because here we are,
let's leave
25 years later. But so you guys end up dating. You're both in college. You're at Morris Brown. You're at FAM, right?
Yeah.
So, but here comes the baby, right?
Yeah.
So you end up getting pregnant. How did you guys manage that?
For one, it was very hard for me to tell my family because I felt like I was disappointing everybody. I was supposed to be...
Because you're both in church families, right?
Yes.
Church families, and then a lot of people were riding on me. Like I was the one with the good grades and the high GPAs, and I was the only one that left to go to school. My twin stayed close to home.
Yeah.
She went to community college and then to a college close by. So I'm 5-6 hours away. I'm at FAM, and I'm a business major, and I was supposed to be the one. And then I had to break that down.
Was that your junior year? When you got pregnant?
Junior year of college.
So how did you guys manage that? Because you're at Morris Brown in Atlanta, you're in Tallahassee, and you did not want to leave school.
No.
And folks were saying, girls, just go ahead, just quit, and we'll figure this out back here in Atlanta.
My mom, my grandmother, everybody was trying to encourage me to come home. But one of the things that really, I had done an internship. And I interned in Boston prior to getting pregnant, and I saw my checks. And then I had friends who were on welfare, and I saw the amount of those checks. So I said to myself, how could this work? Like, that's all the money that they're getting, and I knew I wasn't going to leave college at that point because I knew the lifestyle that I wanted to live.
More.
Yeah.
So you had a vision. That's so impressive, even as a young girl trying to face what life is going to look like pregnant.
Yeah.
So obviously, that was a baby girl.
Baby girl.
You guys got married.
Yes.
And then more children, right? So, but you're young. You guys married young. How old were you?
I was 27.
I was 24.
Well,
Okay.
when Nia was born,
I was
it was
24.
24, but when we got married, 27 and 29.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're in your 20s, still trying to find yourself,
Yeah.
find your way. How did marriage look for you early? Is that when the problems start popping up? Disciplining children?
Yeah, I mean,
Tell me more.
We didn't have nothing to look forward to. I mean, we didn't have anything to look up to. You know, we didn't know what a
model for
good marriage
marriage
looked like. You know, we didn't have those model persons to show us what, you know, what was right, what was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have that one to look up to and emulate what is a good marriage.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was like trial and error for us.
Yeah.
And so, you know, of course, we made a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of them.
Right, but they're the mistakes that you learn from.
Yeah.
And then there are mistakes where you're like, I need to switch some stuff up, right?
Right.
And that was for both of you.
Yes.
Who wants to go first in terms of what you recognize you were doing that was just wrong and too much to sustain?
I will, because I think a lot of times women like myself with A-type personalities, we don't see the toxic stuff that we do. So one of the things I did a lot was I compared him to other people.
To other men?
Other men.
You compared him to other men?
Yeah.
Because you were making more money
Yeah.
than he was at the time, right?
And we had friends in our circles that were making a whole lot of money. Like they were like millionaires.
Millionaires.
They had hit millions. So, and sometimes I would say stuff to him about being more like certain people, and he said, but what you don't know is that how they're living on the other side of that with a lot of infidelity and all kind of other stuff. And so
Let me ask you about that. So, I mean, did she like name I wish you could be more like so-and-so, or I wish you made more money like such and such?
Yeah, names was dropped.
What was that like for you?
I hated it because, you know, I'm my own person, you know, and I didn't get in my profession. I work in mental health, and I didn't get in my profession for money. I know
Yeah.
she's a business major, you know, she got in her area of expertise for money. I didn't. I wanted to be in that helping field.
Yeah.
And she, you know, my income was, you know, always a problem. You know, or, you know, I should be making more money, or you need to find another job. You know, I hated it.
Yeah.
You know, it bothered me. You know, and I felt like she just didn't support me in that way.
And then you also made some mistakes financially too, even with the business. You opened some businesses and didn't consult Leon. Was that because you didn't want him to know or didn't value his opinion? Why?
didn't value his opinion, thought I could just do stuff on my own because, I don't know, whatever reason. It was a manipulative, controlling, just a very, bad behavior. I should have consulted him, and I probably wouldn't have made those mistakes.
And you say
regretted
mistakes because you say you regret it. You call them mistakes because the businesses did not
didn't
work
work
out. So what was that like then to have to then lean back on the brother that you'd kind of been tearing down?
Yeah, I had to admit I had to, and then I wish I would have consulted him because my husband has a lot of good insight and intel, and he's smart in ways that I wish I would have. Hindsight 2020. I wish I would have consulted him more. And he's charismatic too, so a lot of times he's a good networker. Like he could make friendships and partnerships really quickly. And things that I was so busy
struggling with.
focusing on myself, I didn't look at his good qualities. Just looking at all the bad qualities, he has some really good things that he does.
Thank you.
That is beautiful. I guess, well, I'm curious, when you say, when is the last time you've said that out loud to him?
Recently a lot.
Yeah,
I really stroke his ego.
You just
a lot.
Okay. I was like, don't have me feeling sorry for you like she had said this before.
But back in the day, I did, but recently a lot,
But yeah, that's that sort of type A kind of alpha female.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. For you, Leon, you're very candid in the book. There is a rhythm and flow to longevity in marriage about being violent and having a really bad temper.
Yeah. I mean, I was an angry person. Honestly, I didn't know where it was coming from. You know.
Two-part question. Where was it coming from, and how did you figure that out?
Well, it was coming from my upbringing. I was raised in a house where there was nothing but violence.
So you saw, if I'm
physically breaking a mirror, on my grandpa's head, throwing bottles, using my grandfather cut my grandmother's neck. You know, that's the kind of, it was a whole lot about it. And that was on a regular basis.
So, and was that something you ever tried to break up, or you just hiding at this point, or just trying to kind of turn away to minimize the trauma? That's a lot for
that was a lot for me,
folks.
you know, and growing up seeing that, and, you know, I tried to mask as much as I could, but, you know, when I get upset or get angry, I just didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to communicate or express myself to my wife, you know, verbally. And, you know, even emotionally, I didn't know how to do that. So
did you go to, was it therapy? Was it something you talked to a pastor? Because you both were in church. My wife encouraged me to go to a pastor. And that was a train wreck from the beginning, because he immediately pointed the finger at me. Yeah. And, you know, he really didn't listen to me. He heard everything she said, and he just started pounding on me, and I got up and I left. Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, well, you're physically violent, which we know is unacceptable. Correct. But we also have to tap into why you are, so you got to give some space. Mm-hmm. And I was hesitant about going to see a pastor anyway. I actually wanted to see a professional. Oh, gotcha. Okay, you understood.
Because he's in that field too.
I work in the field.
That's interesting.
He didn't use the techniques that I've learned.
And that's interesting that you are in mental health. Mm-hmm. And tell me, just what do you do?
I work for a Fulton County Behavioral Health Development on Disabilities, and so I actually work with an outreach team for Fulton County. But I worked in the mental health profession and field for over 16 years.
But it took you some time to recognize you needed some own mental health care in your situation. In 2014, you got an apartment, and you said, I'm out. Yeah, I'm taking these kids. We're not doing this anymore. And that was after a big blow up on Mother's Day, right? Yeah. Was the Mother's Day encounter violent, or it was loud and it was?
It was just verbally loud. It was just verbally, and it was just like verbally on another level, because I had been like not talking to him for like months, and I think.
And y'all were in the same house and hadn't spoken.
Yes. Yeah.
So this was just. Child care conversations, basically, right?
It was really
and then arguing in between that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so,
did you know she had an apartment?
No,
nope,
I did not.
So you got this place, you got it furnished, moved in, or?
I didn't move in right away. I got it in April. I got some furniture delivered for the kids, like their beds and their dressers and all that stuff. And because my thing was, I wasn't going to take the house from him. I'm still looking out for him. Yeah. I quit claim deed the house over to him, because I said, the God I serve, I can get another house. Yeah. And I knew he was going to have apprehensions about leaving it. So I said, you can keep the house, I'll start over. And I went and got the apartment. Okay. And that week, though, earlier that week, I went to the apartment, I turned the key and I opened it. And that was the first time I was like, I think I can do it.
I think I can leave.
Yeah.
Because I
still was up in the air about it.
Because in your mind, you were leaving an abuse, not in your mind, in your reality, you were leaving an abusive relationship. And we usually tell women to get the kids and go. Yeah. Or if the man is being abused, get the kids and go, right? So at what point did you guys have a conversation about the fact that I've got this apartment and I'm out? What
Never.
Was your
until I left. Like, he didn't know I had it.
What did you say?
Well, when she left and got an apartment, she tried to have me, she met me for lunch, asked to meet her for lunch, and she wanted to sit down and tell the kids that they're going to be permanently moving from our home into an apartment.
And to that you said?
No, I immediately got up and left. I said, you didn't consult me about moving into an apartment. And of course I don't want my kids or my children leaving me or leaving our home. So
how old were they at the time? Still all relatively young?
They were getting big. So the middle one was 14. So the other one is 9. The baby boy's 9. And then the oldest girl, she was in college. She was a freshman in college at
old enough to know that this is hurting even more. But had they already seen, I mean, kids already know so much more than we give them credit for. Oh, yeah. They knew what was going on, right?
Yeah, my son probably not as much. He was 9. Like I said, my oldest was in college. But that middle one, she was actually trying to, in a way, bring us back together.
Babies always 14, try to,
she was trying to salvage it. She was trying to make it, like, y'all need to talk. Y'all need to sit down and talk. Like, she had so much wisdom.
What was that like having your teenager tell y'all sit down and talk?
It broke me
figure this
down.
out.
It broke me down.
Was that a
Yeah.
shift for the two of you?
Yeah, because she really wanted it to work. She was wise beyond her years, and she was trying to tell us, our behavior wasn't good. Y'all fix it. Fix it.
Yeah.
And so, but we didn't.
How much did faith play a role in your relationship at this point? Or because I mean, if we're honest, right? A lot of us have sort of this kind of check in daily or check in only when they're and then haven't checked in with God in a minute.
Yeah.
Where were you guys in that?
For me, it was a big deal because I had started a prayer ministry where I was on the phone. It was a group of us calling in every morning at 5:30 a.m.
And this is while you were still being abused?
I started in 2012, so he wasn't really physically abusive at that time, but he was still verbal.
And were you still going after him?
Yeah,
with the finances
we were having,
and the money, and you're not making enough?
Some of that was happening. So he even called in.
He called into the prayer. Listen,
I did.
That's smart.
We were separated.
You're supposed to be praying for all of us, right?
I knew it was him, but nobody else on that knew it.
Nobody else caught my voice.
But he was like, "Yeah, I need prayer for my marriage." Now I'm leading the thing, right? And
what did you say? Well, you were like, "I know this joker didn't just."
She kept her
She
composure.
kept it
Yeah, she kept her composure. She kept
the
praying.
power of a praying
right.
woman. I
And
love
so
it.
I was like, I knew it was him, so I was like, let's pray. Let's go ahead and
Let's
pray
go.
for this brother who separated from his wife, and I'm knowing it's him now.
Yeah.
That
You
is-
remember that?
Yeah.
I love that you two can laugh about that now
Yeah.
because there have been many, many prayers since, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of work done since.
Oh yeah.
I love how, and let me just say thank you again for this level of candor. Because it's sometimes a little uncomfortable to hear it, so I know it's got to be uncomfortable to talk about it, but obviously you wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
So it's empowering others. The COVID pandemic really was a game changer for a lot of marriages. We saw many fall apart, and we saw some strengthened. You said this social distancing forced the two of you to reevaluate marriage. How
Yeah.
so, Leon?
Yeah. I was fortunate to work from home. She would have to go to work every day. And then she would come home. She's complaining. I'm cooking dinner. I have something going, but I had to find a way to lift her spirits because she was just going in every evening she came home, and she's going 14 hours a day.
Oh,
that's a long
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's dark when she leaves, and it's dark when she get home. So I created this oasis in the backyard. I was enjoying working from home and just doing chores around the house. I'm trying to lift her spirits at the same time. So I got the grill going, music going, got steaks also went on grill.
Trying to make it something to come home to.
Got her
And from
wine.
there, you started dancing, right? You started enjoying each other's
And we
company
started
and having.
talking more. We just started talking more. And we realized all the mistakes that we have made in the past. And like we laughed about it just now. We laughed about that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I want to close with something I think is just so poignant. Even though the two of you essentially met in church, you just now found yourselves together getting baptized together, right? You
Yes.
just did this spring, for Good Friday.
Yes.
What did that represent for the two of you?
For me, I really wanted to do it. It was like a fresh start, if you
Yeah,
will, like
yeah.
a new beginning. And I had never been baptized, like in a pool, the ocean, or anything like that. And I really wanted to do it. And he wasn't going to do it originally. I said, well, I'm doing it. I want to do it. I was adamant about it. And then the day of, he said, I'm going to do it too. So I
So
said,
y'all were going thinking it was just going to be you.
yeah, and
What
I thought
changed
he
your
was going to
mind?
film me.
Because, I love my wife, and I know how adamant she was about being baptized.
Yeah.
And, I want to be there and share that special moment as well. So, because I wasn't baptized either. So,
It is definitely seems like a renewal, and in that season of resurrection and renewing our spirits. Or do you feel renewed even a couple of years out from writing this book? Does it feel like the renewed versions of the Montgomerys still, you're continuing to grow in that space?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. We're empty nesters now, so even more so now,
Congratulations.
we can
Yeah.
focus on just us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So we spend a lot of time together. He started his date night thing, so Friday nights is date night. So
Every Friday?
yeah, he picks the place, even if it's
love
at
it.
home. But it's that's his thing.
Whether it's a payday or not.
Exactly.
Friday night is your night together.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's absolutely beautiful. From each of you, just as we close, their final thought for making, because you guys have survived just about every test that can, be thrown at a marriage. Your advice for pressing through and staying together.
For me, tomorrow is a new day. Don't bring today's arguments, disagreements, or whatever into tomorrow. So my big thing is don't go to bed angry. Let it go. Life is short. Love on your mate, your spouse, and keep outsiders from.
Keep outsiders outside.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, I got you. Leon, final word.
Yes, be willing to compromise. Relationship is a two-way street. It's not one side or one way. And be willing to walk with your mate, side by side.
That's beautiful. Leon and Carita Montgomery, the authors of Just Dance With Me. There is a rhythm and flow to longevity in marriage. I thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I know a lot of people are inspired. Just quickly, you can get it on Amazon
Yes.
books and I was about to say
Barnes and Noble, Target, Walmart,
Yeah,
everywhere
online.
.com. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful message to share. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
Yes, indeed. And thank you for tuning into another episode of Portia Raw and Real. Be sure to go check out The Portia Show. Weekdays you can catch it streaming on Fox Soul, or you can go watch an episode anytime. Go check out the one with these two. Was deep. At PortiaShow.com. We'll see you next time. Take care.